Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the TraderMerlin Show. It is your final episode of the TraderMerlin Show for 2023. As the graphic will show you right there, it's almost over. I'm looking forward to a little celebratory action over the weekend. Hopefully my 49ers will win. And time to reflect and look back on a lot of the trades that were made this year in my accounts and, learn from those things. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of that with you guys here today. Feel free to chime in and share with me your stories, results if you want. Let me know how things are going and maybe share some misery or some joy, depending on how the year turned out. So what I wanted to do first was go and quickly look at the end of the year number for the S&P. So here it is right here. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I should have done it. Cheers, everybody. I actually have an extra tall glass today. It's a, what am I going with here today? It's a Bibb & Tucker 12-year reserve. It was a good year, so I figured I'd just have that one. There we go. So cheers, everybody. Hope you have a great Friday and a great New Year's. Be safe out there. If you see me grimace, it's because, man, that stuff is strong. Whew. All right. Hopefully, I'll be still standing by the end of the show. So let's look at the end of the year. Here's your SPX. That's what we based off our forecast for the year. If you look at the end of the year number, you had 4,769 is where that S&P closed at. Just for fun, I will zoom out here, and I think I actually have this on the first day. And I'll go here and give you here's from January 1st, from the open to where we closed at. Come on, give me the exact numbers on that SPX to where we closed at today. 23.79% rate of return. So great year, eclipsing normal statistics. I think I ran by some numbers with you a while back, which were in a pre-election year, the S&P average is about 17%, and we hit 23. So all in all, a great year. The average historically is 10%. Did great. So all in all, fantastic year for the markets overall. Did not do what I thought I was going to do, but who cares, right? Doesn't matter what I think. It's doing what the market does. So when we look at my trades later on, we'll keep that number in mind, that 23.79 number in our heads, because that's kind of one of my rules for trading. My benchmark is my goal is to beat the S&P 500. I'm not trying to get 100% rate of return or 1,000%. I don't care. I just want to beat the S&P 500 because, in my opinion, if you can't beat the S&P 500, then just buy the damn S&P 500 and get those results. So that said, 4769 was the number, and here's our list. I haven't seen Alex in here in a long time. Alex, if you're listening to the podcast of this, you won the forecast challenge this year. Hold on, let me zoom in even more. Tom B was close with 46.48. But you're still off by 120 points. Alex was only 21 points off. Nice, good one there. So Alex, if you are listening, or somebody knows Alex, email him and tell him to contact me. I will send you a pair of shot glasses that John sent me. Yeah, we got some wonderful viewer here sent in some shot glasses to me. Has a whole box of shot glasses, so I will send that out as a prize to you, Alex. A couple of them. You're going to get a couple TraderMerlin shot glasses. So, Alex, email me. Name's on the screen, tradermerlin@gmail.com. Let me know, and I will get those out to you. Congratulations. Sly says I'm on the bottom. Yeah, it's really interesting. I look at where I was at as well, and in hindsight, who cares? I was at 39.01. Well, I'm off by almost 800 points. That seems like crazy, but who cares, right? This is just an idea at the beginning of the year, and I think we all know, just so you guys want to see yours. Where are you, Sly Dog? Which one are you on here? Tom gave multiple numbers. So, Tom, you gave us 30.04, and you also gave us a 46.48 later. So next time you're only going to get one on the pool. Big Ed, you were close, 44.80. Les, you did pretty good, 4,400, not bad. And there were a couple overshoots, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 people had guessed this market was going to be higher than that. So we'll have to see how it all pans out. What I'm going to do on the January 2nd show is we'll do this all over again. We'll go through and plan your forecast. Let me know what you think. We'll talk about the upcoming trading year. I'm going to see if I can potentially get Larry on the show next week, just because I want to see what his thoughts are, forecast, analysis, what he sees as being important for this upcoming year, 2024, and then we'll all do our little forecast and do it all over again. Hey, there you go. Yeah, Mike won it last year. You were very optimistic about this year, Mike. We'll get you again next year. Okay, so from there, let's move on to what do we want to go into? I'm going to go right into my trades just so we can talk about those and break them apart. Now, it took me a lot of time to go through this stuff because I have a lot of different accounts, but I think you might find this interesting. Some of my numbers. Let me just say that my results are in no way normal for everybody, right? We're all going to have our own results, and every account looks different. So I'm going to read different accounts to you, and some accounts are going to be like, you're going to go, holy crap, that's epic. And then others are going to go, oh God, that's terrible. Again, I'll explain what goes on with each of those accounts, but I'm going to start with what I love to do is I like to look at what was the best trade I had all year from just a pure performance and feel perspective, and what was the worst. So the one that I had a lot of good trades this year. I had some pretty good ones that certainly had a nice impact on the overall results. But this one in particular, I would say this is probably the best one. Of course, it's on my birthday. So that was long 80 Amazon calls on that gap down after earnings. So I'll bring up Amazon over here. We'll talk about that for just a second. Don't worry, we'll talk about my bad stuff as well. I normally don't trade Amazon, but I'm a big fan of Amazon. And you have this big gap down on earnings here in October. And it plummeted. It came right down to an area that I was kind of wanting to buy it, and I thought about selling puts on this to buy at 115, and I ended up just loading the boat. I forgot what strike, but I bought deep out of the money calls because I just felt like it was going to rally back up. And over that period of 5 days, I'll just map out this one here. Let's see if it's 1 day. That's the closing price. Over the period of just the next 4 trading sessions, you had a 15% jump up in Amazon. And that was a great one, which I scaled out into. I actually sold half of the position and then scaled out as it kept on rallying. And all in all, ended up being a really good trade for me this year. And I was pretty happy about that one. Now, that's the fun stuff. Those are the ones we always like to look back and go, that was a great one. I think that the trade that happened starting September with the S&P would have been even better. I thought that would have been an even more monstrous trade. Now, if we look at, sorry, Tom, I was reading your thing. My worst trade. This is an easy one for me. There was a period of time, guys, where FRC, First Republic Bank, I was selling calls. I did this probably for a couple of months because the premium was so elevated. You were getting like 10% premium for 5 days worth of holding this thing. And of course, anytime you get premium that's that high, you got to know that there's a problem with it. So I'll go to FRCB. And we can see what it's at today. It's dead. I mean, this thing is done. They added the B to the end of it. It's FRCB because it's bankrupt. But right back here, I think this was back in April. Yeah. And this is during that peak of the financial crisis where everyone was freaking out back in March and April. And this whole period in here, this like 1 month window of time, I was just selling puts on this over and over and over and over again. Now, I will tell everybody here, and I've said this repeatedly, this was in a pure gamble account. I have 2 accounts that I earmark as anything goes. I can do whatever I want. I can do anything in those accounts. There are no rules. Well, one of the rules I have in my 1% account is I can't sell put options or sell options on stocks that are extremely volatile. And of course, FRCB, just by its premium and implied volatility, would have told me stay away from that one. But in my gamble account, I went for it, and I was trading it successfully for over a month. And then all of a sudden, right here, it just had its breakdown. And I think I was selling like the $11 strikes because it was just below this area consolidation, which had been sideways for a month. And all of a sudden, starting on April 25th, it started its fall. And in a period of, 4 days, it dropped 78%. In a period of 5 days, it dropped 97%. So that basically wiped out the entire trade and cost me a lot of money on that one. But it was in a smaller gambling account. So that's going to seriously impact my my account. In that account, just so you guys know, that specific account, drum roll please, was down 54%. Before you're like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Remember, that 54% was on a smaller account that was gamble. So in that one specific account, I had in that gamble account, I had 23 trades total for the year. I had 6 losing trades. So my win percentage in that account was actually 74%, but the account was down 54% because of one trade. The other 5 losing trades I had on those, I went back through. I actually took stop losses on them fairly early. So that to me was the worst thing that happened to me this year. fine. I'm okay with that because, again, it was just a small little piece of capital. And again, I don't take big risks with my big accounts. My big accounts are conservative. I'm taking very safe bets on those, and you'll see by the statistics here in just a minute. I can't afford to take those kind of chances. Now, let's go and look at miscellaneous statistics. So, I'll run through them account by account. I didn't have time to put them all into graphics, but in my biggest account, a little disappointing. Remember, I was telling you that I have a 1% strategy, which those of you who are new to the show, new to the program, you can click on the search feature inside of Trader Merlin's channel and find the 1% show. I think I've done it maybe twice. So the goal for that account is 1% per month or higher. Last year did great. We actually ended up with a significantly higher rate of return because things were running and I just managed those well and ended up with a phenomenal year in that account. This year, there's two statistics that I like. Number one was the win percentage for this account. I took 57 trades in my biggest account. I took 57 trades, one loser. And I know exactly what the trade. I remember it vividly. It was IWM. It's the only losing trade I had in that account over the course of the year, which is phenomenal. It's a 98% win ratio in that account. Now, most of you right now are going, holy cow, 98%. You must have absolutely slaughtered it. You must have crushed it this year. No. The results for this account, even with a 98% win rate, was only 11.29%. Remember, I took one loss on IWM, which took a pretty good chunk out of my consistent monthly rate of return. The reason I wanted to share that with you is, you could look at a number like 98% rate of win rate and think that I'm the best trader in the world. I'm not. I only got 11.29% rate of return on that account, which was far less than the 23.79% for the S&P. I'm literally half the rate of return of the S&P 500, even with a 98% win rate. So I thought that was an interesting one to share with you guys. The one I would say I'm probably the most proud of, I'm just looking through account numbers here. I already shared with you my Gamble one, which was down 54%, even with a 74% win ratio. However, those are small. My active trading account is also pretty large, and I had 73 trades this year in that account. 20 of those were losers, which gives me a win rate of 73%. Where do you get your investment choices for the risky account? Great question, Margaret. For my Gamble accounts, I'm looking at what's the outlier, right? If we draw a bell curve, and for those that, let me just make an educational show. I'm sure most of you know what a bell curve is. You've taken statistics, but I will bring that up here just to have it as a reference point for all of us. So give me just a couple of minutes or a couple seconds here. All right, and hopefully this will become full screen. Take that out. Come on, close. Oh man, everything wants to pop up right now. There we go. Okay, so here's your bell curve. And the way that it works is, for most of the trades, I'm looking for this median here. This one in the middle is like your high probability of success, right? I'm trying to do things that stay in there with a high probability of success. And again, that's my 1% account. The goal ultimately is to have minimum 12% rate of return. I failed that this year because of that one losing trade on IWM. Got 11.29. Honestly, I'm still okay with that because I know I'll make up for it another year and compound it over time. The Gamble account is saying it's these outliers over here. I'm looking for these statistical anomalies, these ones that I know are giving such high rate of return. So, Margaret, to answer your question in an easy format, I would go out here to things like the TradingView watch list over here with a little flame on the right-hand side, and you go through here and you look at some of these biggest percentage gainers and losers. So you've got Zcar down 61% today. Now, I wouldn't touch Zcar because it's an IPO. I don't mess with any of the IPOs. GMM, it's going to be low volume, but I like to look at things that have fear, panic, just craziness in it. And literally, I'm swinging for the fences, right? In almost every trade in those two Gamble accounts, it's like I'm trying to hit the grand slam. I am swinging with everything I got, hoping to knock it out of the park. And the reason I have those two accounts that way is it regularly reminds me that Gamble traders lose. Because I'll have a couple years where all of a sudden, I'll get that 300, 400, 500% rate of return because I just knocked one out of the park and crushed it. But more often than not, year over year, those Gamble accounts take big hits, and that's the piece that ends up wiping them out. So I don't know why I keep doing it, because the results it's empirical evidence to me that those gamble accounts lose money over time, which is why I keep them out and they're very small. It's just a consistent reminder to me. So how do I find those things? I'm looking for big movers, things that are really hyped up and talked about. Mara, Riot Blockchain would have been good ones for today just because of their crazy moves. Looking for where if I'm using options, I want the premium to be incredibly high if I'm looking at selling options, or I want everyone to no premium if I'm looking at buying these things and taking deep out of the money trades, but just really high risk gamble trades, which I don't advocate, but I definitely I do them. So those two accounts, the first one was that FRCB killed that and dropped it at negative 54% rate of return, even with a 74% win rate. The second gamble account is actually it's the smallest account I have, and I follow the same basic rules, but I'm not allowed to trade options in there. I just want to be going with equities, it's to get my mind away from options at times, because I do a lot of options in different accounts. Hey Josh, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well up there. That one, I had 13 trades in that one. 6 of those were losing trades. Only a 54% win rate, so that's not very good in that gamble account. And that was a negative 28% rate of return. So my two smallest accounts, which were the gamble accounts, negative 54% and negative 28. Terrible. My biggest account, we just talked about, positive 11.29 on the year with a 98% win rate, 57 trades, 1 loser, which was IWM. Okay, so to me, the biggest account I have, which is that 1% account, is systematic. It's just easy. You consistently perform the same action over and over and over and over and over again, and keep doing that. Fine. I'll get nice rates of return over the year consistently. The active trading account I have, now I have a bunch of specific rules for that one, which I won't get into here. I had 73 trades. 20 of those were losers. And again, my goal in that thing is to keep those losses really small. That's a 73% win rate, and that account was up 45.17% this year. So I'm happy in that account because I beat the S&P 500, right? Almost double the rate of return of the S&P 500. But also like the fact I got a 73% win rate. And that's pretty good in my book. I think if you can get anything over 70% success rate and you're keeping your reward to risk ratio at 3-to-1, you're looking pretty good. Now, I need to dig deeper into these ones to find out more detail for myself as far as where I can improve, and I'll explain how I'm going to approach that here in just a minute. And then I have another actually, this is, this is my third largest account. It's again a 1% strategy, 22 winning trades, 1 losing trade. It was IWM as well because I doubled it up in this account. I had a 95% win rate in that account. That one actually netted me 19.56%. So out of all of these, only one of these accounts has beaten the S&P 500, which is problematic for me, at least from my mental state and my approach to it, because again, my goal is I got to beat the S&P 500. If I don't beat it, I feel like I did not do as good as the market. So that said, let me run you through some miscellaneous statistics here. And do you hold any stocks and sell covered calls other than silver? Yes, I do. Right now, Lisa, I have a nice winning trade on Walmart right now. I sold the 155 calls on Walmart. I collected like 2% premium on it because it was real volatile at the time off of earnings. I just sold calls against my Walmart. I think I sold the one. Shoot, I sold the one. I think I sold the 160s. I either sold the 160 or the 157.50s. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, and that's part of, if you look at these two 1% accounts, one of them yielded 11.29%. The other one was 19.56%. Both of those are pretty much doing the same thing. I'm doing slightly different covered call strategies with the second account, which got 19.56. And what I'm doing there is I'll usually go to a 1% mark, but I'm actually selling those calls a little bit higher. And what happened was I had a couple winning trades where I got a lot of gains on the underlier, and I didn't get out too quick, meaning the shares weren't taken away from me because of the calls. So that's, I definitely hold stocks in there. I've had a bunch of different ones. Right now, the only stocks I have, I've got silver and I have Walmart, and I think that's it. Near the end of the year, I went much lighter, but yes, good question. Okay, so let's run through some miscellaneous statistics here, and then you guys can tell me what you think overall. So I made a total of 188 trades this year. You know, that's not high or low. I would say it's kind of average for me. And again, I've got a bunch of different accounts, and I'm trying to do less trading. Just to be clear here, I'm trying to do less trading than more trading. So 188 trades this year. I had 34 losing trades, which puts my win percentage at about 82%. Personally, that's great. I'm very happy with that. I'm extremely happy with that. But again, I think that the data is skewed here a little bit. If I'm honest, it's skewed because my 2 out of the 3 accounts I have that are the biggest accounts are this 1% strategy. So right away, those accounts are designed to have a much higher win probability and less gains. So I'm sacrificing the gains for the consistency and probability. So it's kind of skewed here. I would say this is not reflective of like an active trading account where you're making tons of trades. This is incorporating in my, again, 2 of my top 3 largest accounts, which are selling puts, collecting the premium. If I'm assigned, sell calls against it. So it's kind of hard for me to take a loss, particularly if you're in a bull market situation like we've been in for most of 2023. So if you have questions on that, let me know. So those are the first 3 numbers I think are pretty interesting from my situation for the year. 188, 34 losing trades, win percentage was 82%. Overall rate of return 16.04% for all my accounts. So less trades but more positions for each trade. Well, I would say I'd like to be much more selective in my trades, and I've become that. I'm becoming much more selective and realizing that I need to turn off the computer and go away and do other things. I'm one of those people that has a bit of a phone addiction, and you have all these apps on your phone now. It's very easy to sit there and just, I'll just trade for the sake of trading because I have the phone in my hand. Got to not do that, right? I'd much rather take my time, be selective. If the trades don't look right, fine. I'll let my money sit idle for a while until I find the right trades and situations. So I've moved myself from that sniper or that frontline infantry mentality that I had back in the late 90s, which was shoot at anything, just make a trade, put your money into work and just let it go, to a much more precise trader, looking for high probability trades, ones that I'm very certain I'm going to win. And if I don't have a winning trade, I'll cut those losses relatively small, which is, that's why I encourage you all to write down your numbers and look at it all at the end of the year, because it will tell you a lot about what's working, what's not. Clearly, for the past 3 years, the call strategy, or selling put strategy, the wheel strategy has been working very well for me, but my rates of return have not been great. So your 1% deep out of the money works. Yep. It's not, when you say deep out of the money, it really depends, right? It depends, because I can go, typically in that 1% account, I'm looking for 1% worth of premium. So it may not be that out of the money, a little bit, but not maybe deep out of the money. In the gamble accounts, I'll go deep out of the money and try to hit those home runs. The Amazon trade, I bought deep out of the money, or I went, what did I do on that one? I bought 80 calls deep out of the money, expecting it to rally up, and the rate of return percentage there was just incredible. So let's see. Do you log your trades on a spreadsheet, or does your platform record this for you? I keep track of them. So I try to keep track manually, but every year I'll go back through and look at my trade statements. And I know at the end of the month kind of what I've done. I know how many I've done each month, so I kind of summarize my month. So each account will have kind of a summary page of a month, and I'll have 12 of those. So it's really easy for me to go back through and look at all the numbers and see exactly where I stand. So what do you guys think? How would you feel if this was your account? Would you feel good? Would you feel bad? Would you feel frustrated? What's your thoughts on this? And again, you don't have to worry about offending me. You can say whatever you want to say. I don't care. I got thick skin. But this is the result of my accounts. This is quite a bit of capital here. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on it. What do you see as strengths and weaknesses? You're getting a commercial right now, so you get an ad, and then we'll wait for your chat and responses while I have a nice sip of this wonderful, nice whiskey. There we go. Lisa says I was going to go over my numbers this afternoon as well. And like you, I have multiple accounts. I have all my numbers and feel pretty good so far. Good. And Lisa, I'm glad you're doing it. It's a boring exercise. It takes a ton of time to do it, but you'll start to learn about, what's really working and what's not. So, Future Trader says, great, well, all around it. For me, there's a glaring problem. I got hurt with the 3 Delta. I need to reanalyze. always analyze. Don't stop analyzing, even though I think I'm pretty good at this and I've been doing it a long time. There's always room for improvement. So let's see. Robert says, I'd feel good based on your win percentage. John says, would have been very excited for that percent of return. Yeah, but I didn't beat the market, right? And I know this sounds weird, but when I look at this, in my mind, I feel like I failed. Even though I would contend that, a 16% rate of return based off historical numbers, great. Why would I not be happy with that? I'm not happy with it because the market returned 23.79. I have 7.5%, 7.75% of negative alpha, right? I just did not do well enough. And, you look at the numbers here. In hindsight, I could have just bought the S&P 500, bought SPY, put all my money into one position, saved on commissions, and just let that run for the entire year. So for me, I feel like it's not a good year. I feel like I'm I'm a little frustrated because I like to overall be beating the S&P, but, it is what it is. Let's see, what else do I want to go? That win percentage I think is great, but again, I feel like that's slightly biased because of the 1%. Again, most of my trades, you look at, I've got these two big 1% accounts. That was 79 trades. Call it 80 trades out of 188 were in the 1% account. So, I'm not taking big risks there. Those are very calculated, minimal risk trades. Let's see what else we got. I held off on a lot of my equity trades on options, but did extremely well with my crypto. Well, oh, by the way, Joe, this does not include any of my crypto. This does not include any of my crypto. I'm up way more. I'm up massively on my crypto. Johnson, I'm a negative about $1,300 for the year in my 1% account. I'm wondering why, John. If you're doing it right, you shouldn't have any negative. I mean, not that there wouldn't be any negative, but the only way that it would be negative is if something went, you were put the options and then it just kept on railing against you, which means you probably were in something that was too volatile, right? One of the things I like about this is in the 1% account, I'm only trading these symbols. Let me go back to my portfolio, and it's on the right-hand side of your screen. I'm only trading these ETFs plus silver. So it's all these heavily diversified, highly liquid ETFs. So XLB, XLY, XLE, XLI, SPY, XLK, XLV, XLF, IYR, XLU. That was it. The only way that this would really crush you is if you were in something that was put to you and it kept on just going into free fall. And the only way to mitigate that, in my opinion, is, if you aren't going to just dump that trade once the shares are put to you, then you start selling calls against it again at your original strike. And that happened to me a couple times where I was put shares that I sold puts on. I received those shares and it drifted lower when I would sell calls against at my original strike price, depending on what it was, and lower my cost basis, knowing that we were kind of in this bullish phase and most likely it was going to rebound, and it ended up coming up and rebounding. So, I'm not a... yeah. Dom says I could improve my return by doing option spreads. I could, and I'd probably increase my win percentage, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Tom. One day I'll get in there. But your crypto account to the moon? Yes, Big Ab. My crypto account has done unbelievably well. Yeah, we are triple-digit returns for the year on crypto. But I don't really look at that as active trading. I haven't done anything with my crypto, right? I've built a portfolio of things that I like, projects that I think are going to have legs, and I'm holding on to that. I don't think that's trading. That's just long-term investing in a new technology that I hope comes to fruition. So what's your average length of position? It's slightly biased, Yowza, because most of these, as you can see on the screen here, it says total 188 trades. Most of these trades are 1 month trades, right? Because I'm doing a 1% per month strategy, so I'm selling 1 month puts. I would say 80 of that 100 is going to be 1 month. So in the 1%, it's 1 month. In the active trading account, I would say a couple days to a couple weeks. Right on, Big Ab. To the moon. Done well on INJ. Render. Love Render. Yeah. Solana. But we talk about a pump in Solana. I'm loving that one. I'm consistently I'm gonna keep holding my Solana. I thought about getting out because it just went too parabolic, but again, I'm gonna hold my crypto until 2025, November 2025. I'll make that decision. Most likely to sell all of it. Let me see what else do I got here. I held off a lot of my equity trades and options, but extremely okay. Crypto guy. Lisa says I keep details so I can go back and review my trades and figure out of my end of year percent gains and losses. It is important to really help me moving forward. Yeah, it's incredibly important, which is why I'm doing it with you guys. You know, I could be much more detailed and break up. You know, I could break it down by winning symbol. You know, which symbol do I trade the best? Which in my 1% account is earning me the most? Actually, it's silver. Silver's been my best performer, which is why I'm trading that one more. I don't know why that is. Don't really care. As long as I know the stats are telling me that silver's my most consistent trade in my 1% accounts, I'm going to keep trading silver. I have no reason to switch that one. Do you ever follow the investment advice of your friend Larry Jacobson? Are they long-term investments? No, I don't follow the investment advice of anybody, Margaret. I like Larry's opinions on things. You know, I made a few trades on Fortinet this year, which were all winning trades, had some great rates of return, made several $1,000s off of Fortinet with options. That's one that Larry loves, FTNT. All right, and the last one I made was actually back here at the first week of November when they had that big earnings gap down. You know, the earnings gap down brought it into these lows that went all the way back into 2022 of November, and I forgot how many I was in, but I bought a bunch of calls, and would I have been better if I just bought the underlier and kept it? Sure, but that thing from the gap down that morning has just been ripping ever since. It's been a great move. So yeah, I've traded Fortinet a few times, but I won't touch. Is it LYV? I hate this company. Scumbags, liars, cheats, thieves, scumbag. If you work for Live Nation or know anybody that's in Live Nation, just leave the site. I hate you and your company. Scam, scam, scam. Ticketmaster, Live Nation. This should be investigated for cons, man. This is like organized crime runs Live Nation. So I can't, with good morals, touch Live Nation. I can't stand them. I think it's a fraud. Anyway. Shinobi said, I may go to the never trade box like you with Apple. Oh, what's you got? Says, I'm pretty much done with my can't trade box. It's the only one that's totally against is Apple. But, Cisco I haven't touched either. Cisco I haven't touched in a long time. Guys, those fish tickets, they've dropped from $4,000 down to $3,500 for a 4-day pass. Crazy. Just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Why November, Chloe? If you go to barchart.com at YouTube page, actually, I'll just bring it up here real quick. I did a video for them which will explain a lot more of this to you, and in that video I talk about it's called the future of Bitcoin and kind of why my thoughts are that this is going to go to the numbers and why November of 2025. So let me just copy this link over, put it in the chat for everybody here to have. We don't need to have commercials, but there you go. There you go. That is a link to a video that I did. Just let me know if it should have shown up. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. How can we choose to use an Excel versus TradeSync software or others? Good question, Carrie. There's really, I'm old-fashioned, I guess. I hate to admit it, but I just like doing things manually. So I have spreadsheets that I run with all this stuff because I like doing the formulas and calculations. Could you use different sites? Sure. Not hard to do. I just figure with most of these sites, you have to pay a fee. So, hey, all, good to see you. Been a while, my friend. Hope things are going well in your new endeavor. Those ticket sellers are only sell tickets for what people will buy. Exactly. Tom, see, the problem is I can't get tickets to the show that I want to go see. I'm a diehard fan. I've been going to shows since the 90s, early 90s with Fish, and I just cannot. I cannot get in there. I can't get the tickets. I'm going to end up spending probably $3,000 for a 4-day pass. Unless somebody here has connections and can hook me up, I'd be ever grateful. Crypto cycle ends November, historically every 4 years. Exactly, Shinobi. That's it. And that video kind of outlines that. So for those who are interested more, you can check that one out there. Will you trade the spot Bitcoin ETF after it's approved, Merlin? Great question. That's a great question, Shinobi. I don't know if I will, and here's why. I already have enough exposure to crypto. Now, the only real thing that a spot Bitcoin ETF would give me access to is now all of a sudden, most likely, I say most likely because I'm not sure yet, but most likely a very liquid market where I could be using options on the spot Bitcoin ETF. I'm hoping it gets to that point, and then I might do it. But I also like to spread my investments around. I've got a good chunk of capital sitting in crypto. There's no need for me to be buying it. Now, would I maybe make some swing trades off of other accounts in there? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I could definitely see doing that, but not high on my list. I want to see it gain adoption. I want to see Bitcoin gain adoption, and that spot Bitcoin ETF will be the key point for that. So that's the main reason I'm excited about it. Let's see what I got here. Should I sell PAGs now? I can't tell you that. I'm not a financial advisor, but let's see. Oh wow. Oh, you were pumping this one for a long time, and I was saying stay away, stay away. Technically, if you look at this chart, you are coming into overhead supply. So if you are a practitioner of supply and demand methodology, you would look at this chart right here, and it would have told you to sell. Yes, especially if you bought. You're up over 100% if you bought back here. Although Michael, I know you were talking about this one for a long time. I think that your average price is somewhat higher than that. I don't know exactly where you're in it, but this one's having a great run. Congrats! Finally had to stay in the sun. Still an ugly looking chart. If we get above this 13. It certainly looks like that trend is broken, and you're now seeing some upside potential. But I would sell personally. Just take that profit and run. Let's see. If you look at the oh yeah, I do have a free. Yeah, it's actually in the description down below. Thanks, Big Eb, doing marketing for me. There's a link down in the description to this video. That's a free 6 crypto session. It's basically just really brief overview of crypto. I never had a bad thing to take. Yeah, honestly, Lisa says never a bad thing to take the money and run. The only issue here, Lisa, is I don't know what Michael's average cost is. Remember, Michael likes stocks that are on a nosedive. He likes to buy things that are beaten down, which you might get something that rises from the ashes, like you're seeing here with PAGs. But if I take the most recent month and a half off, that chart looks like garbage. I would never tell you to buy this stock because it just looks like it's going down and down and down. Now all of a sudden it turned that corner. The question is this it? Is this the resurgence of it? Is that phoenix rising from the ashes? I don't know enough about PAGs to make that assessment. Looks like the algo is going to run the stops above before dropping price on that. Yeah, well, I'm not sure which one you're talking about, Shinobi, but most likely the crypto side of things. I'm just holding. I'm not being scared. I'm just going to sit there and hold that crypto for as long as I can possibly hold it. Okay, so we covered the winner, which was Alex. Let me bring that up here again real quick so I can remember sure. It was Alex Nader. So Alex guessed the closest to the closing price of the S&P on Tuesday's show. We will do this all over again. I have a. We always talk about New Year's resolutions. I'm going to bring back the screen, and some of you can join me if you want. The screen is this one here, which talks about all the things we're going to do for the month. And I'm going to do a January challenge. I'm not going to do 100 push-ups a day. I can't do them anymore like that, but I violated my 30 minutes writing on the book, but I'm going to start this back up in January, so we'll see if anybody wants to join me on that. But I will do a January challenge. We'll also do the end of your market forecast, and I'm gonna try to load the schedule at least the first week or two of January with a bunch of different traders just to see what their thoughts are on the year. What do they think is the most important part? What do they think is going to move the markets? What are they looking at for the year? Just to see different perspectives. So I'll reach out over the weekend and see if I can get more of my previous guests on the program to talk about that type of stuff, because I always find it. Not that I'm going to take anyone's advice without my own due diligence, but it's nice to hear different people's perspectives. Yeah. Let's see. Tail wagging the dog for PAGs. Yeah, that's a heck of a chart on that one. All right, let me run through just what happened out there today. Year end. We'll do a quick little wrap up here, and then I will end and cheers you all and wish you all a wonderful weekend. We had a pretty nice pullback here on the Russell in the last, at least on this trading session. And it was funny because I told you I don't want to do any trades for the end of the year. I don't like doing trades, particularly last week. I wanted to short this market yesterday, and I was like, no, don't do it. Got a nice pullback today, 1.52% slide in that Russell, finishing the year at 2049. I'm not going to do the end of year numbers. I just don't have enough time here today, and I got to do some other stuff here before my day ends. Bitcoin down 1.4%. I'm not worried about it. Again, I still think that this pattern that's forming up here at the top is an ascending triangle. I like it. It feels like it's getting higher highs, higher lows, but hitting its head right now against that 30 or 45,000 mark. But the lows are getting higher and higher and higher. We will see next week what happens here. If this bottom falls out of this one, then, all right, well, we got some problems. But I think it's going to continue to trend on up here. You've got too much buying pressure coming into the markets. Even though some of the altcoins have been doing phenomenally well, you look at some of these other bad boys on the list. Let me run through some of the ones that are standouts. You've had Solana, just been on an unbelievable move. Love Solana. I mean, my last purchase was at $13.90. I did that with my CIL students, and man, we hit 120 just a couple days ago. Now we're at 95. You had, what was another nice big mover? Avalanche also going from $8 up to almost 50. Big runs. Render's been just incredible. Man, hit $5. Another one that I like, which I mentioned you guys a while back, and I talk about it when I teach the crypto classes, LivePeer. LivePeer hasn't had that huge, monster run that some of the other ones have had, but it's gone from $3 to 10. So it's seen its move. Litecoin has been trickling up. So a lot of these are doing very well. Storage has had a nice little pop over the past couple weeks or couple months. So all in all, I think the entire crypto space is doing well. I think you're going to see more and more of this as there's more adoption and attention to it. Bottom line is, big thing for 2024 is going to be regulation and how we see politicians position themselves, the rules they put around crypto, and what stays. What are your thoughts on some of the airdrops on Cosmos and Solana? Do your research would be my only real caution there, Shinobi. I love airdrops. Airdrops, for those who don't know, is basically you're giving something for free. So if you were to own Cosmos or own Solana, you might find at your wallet address just all of a sudden just extra stuff there. Anybody here can do an airdrop. Anyone can do an airdrop. All you have to do is say, give me a copy of the blockchain, which is publicly available, and show me all the addresses that have Bitcoin or have any crypto, and you just send them whatever you want. I'm hearing more and more about scams where if you click on links or sign up for the airdrops, they're going to get your information and somehow hack your accounts. Be careful with that. If it's just crypto shows up in your account, great, take it. I've received a lot of free crypto over the years. I've received Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, all for free, simply because, I got it. I had the address. But I have not played any of the Solana ones. I didn't notice anything on my Ledger wallet. A lot of times they just show up. So I don't subscribe to any of them, but if it just randomly shows up, I'll take it. I did have a bunch of Solana staked. I still do. I'm looking right now to see if I have anything in that Solana wallet that was airdropped in there. So Cosmos, I'm not seeing anything that was added to my accounts here. No NFTs or anything like that on my Cosmos and my Solana. I have 456 Solana right now, and nothing has been dropped into my accounts or added. So, no worries there. You probably have to fill some stuff out. Wow. Damn, I should check Jito. I haven't looked at the airdrops, but I love airdrops. I just haven't had enough time. Honestly, that's the real answer, Shinobi, is I got so many other things going on. But I love airdrops. I mean, it's free. You guys be careful with them. Are the NFTs that get put in scams? So the way that a lot of these scam NFTs work is an NFT that's airdropped into your account typically is guerrilla marketing. So Margaret asked, what's the point? It's guerrilla marketing, right? It's basically someone trying to get your attention and draw attention to a project. So they'll take a couple dollars worth of capital, make some NFTs, drop it in your account, or they'll just straight airdrop you tokens. It works because what happens is now you're going to go to that ecosystem and maybe trade on it or utilize something in that ecosystem, and that's what they're trying to get you to do. So that's how they do it. Most of the NFTs in my portfolio that I've received are scams. What they'll do is they'll get you this NFT, it airdrops in. I think I may actually have some. I can show you here real quick. Hold on a second. Bear with me. Let's see. Typically the Ethereum, you get quite a few. Yeah, so here we go. So you can see here I've got this Matic-NFT.com or Staked ETH Mysterious NFT. Typically what happens with these is they're scams. I got a whole bunch in here. Lido airdrop recipient. So if I click on, let's say, this Matic NFT, it'll give me all the information about it. And I can go and analyze it and do some research on it. Most of them are scams. And they're trying to get you to fill something out. They're trying to get you to sign up for something, to give them some personal information. That's not, in my opinion, a legitimate airdrop. An airdrop is typically where at your address, coins show up. NFTs, there is some vulnerability there. Nice. I'll have to check those ones out, Shinobi. All right, so I'm going to run back through these. I got sidetracked there, but that was a good discussion. Glad you guys brought that one up. And if there's stuff you want to know, let me know, because I'm not going to do more than an hour show today. This is the 207th show of the year, by the way, just so you guys know. Quite a few. 207 shows for the year. Yeah, Shinobi, you can actually go delete those NFTs from your portfolio. I usually do. I get probably, a couple a week that just pop into my accounts. All right, so we had Bitcoin. We talked about, let me get to the dollar index. There's your dollar index. Again, I still think that this demand zone that's going to show up here right around 100 for the dollar index is definitely in play. It looks like it's, we had a bounce over the last 2 days, but the downtrend is still intact. It would not surprise me to see us get to that by, the first or couple weeks of January. 10-year had a nice little pop today in its yield of 0.57%, but still, that trend is down. And again, until that trend is broken, I'm not worried about it. I think it's going to continue to keep going and going and going. 207? What are we talking about, Big Eb? What do you got, 207? Let's see. Crude oil. I still have this level mapped out here. That would have been a 50% retracement from that recent sell-off. Would have brought it up to about $81. But we've sold off again today. 71.65 is where crude oil ended the day. S&P also showing a slightly down day at 0.25%. Now, SLV. I did sell the $23 strikes today, expiring January 19th, which would get me monthly, not monthly, but annualized 1%. So fine with that for the next. So let me rephrase that. I sold the January 19th calls on some of my silver, just 2 positions, not the rest of them, but just 2 of them at that $23 strike. And I don't think we'll get there by the 19th. If we do, great, that's fine. But I think we'll probably bounce around a little bit, probably close right around 22.50 to 22.75 by the end of January. All right. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm losing track of time. It's funny. I was actually going back through. Thanks, Big Eb, for the clarity. I had a total brain fart right there. I went back through and I was looking at the number of shows. So I think I had it here. Shows. I can go to old shows. It'll be 207 for this year, which not too shabby. And I'll go here. I did 194. I'm going to do just calculation here real quick. 194 in 2020. I did a 221 in 2021 and 212. So and plus 207. So this is officially my 834th show for the TraderMerlin one. Pretty crazy. 834 shows I've done. Surprising. Time flies when you're having fun. Merlin, you think all of the Bitcoin miners will keep selling off since Cathie Wood announced that she sold all her Bitcoin? No, I don't. I definitely don't think that. I think that Bitcoin miners got overheated. I think that they rallied up a bit too much. We can look at let's look at Mara today, which got decimated today. But people look at this and go, "Oh my God, 16% slide! It's the end of the world." Well, is it? I mean, look, this is a small pullback. I think everybody in this room, and if you say no, you're lying. But everybody in this room would be ecstatic to have a 335% gain in 2 months and then have a 16% pullback. Bring it on. Hell, give me a 30% pullback. I don't give a crap. I made 330% gain. I'm good. Let it pull back. Let it breathe. Yeah, no. I think you're going to see more upside movement here. Yeah, exactly. Shinobi's talking about, Michael, as they need more ASIC miners. They need more equipment because the hashing rate is getting higher and higher and higher and higher. Fine. The price of Bitcoin over time will go up if we get adoption. So I think Mara, I think Riot, while I would not buy them now, I think might be some buy point here. I mean, I wrote an article early this year called, are Bitcoin miners rising from the ashes? And a lot of it had to do with, the price of Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin keeps on moving up, then these guys are going to do really well. Right now, it's just a small pullback. I would not freak out about the move that happened today. I'd actually be maybe selling puts at some lower price, thinking about a buy price coming up here. I wouldn't buy right now. I think that's too risky. Oops. Riot, and there's Mara. I cannot type today. It's the whiskey, folks. It's the whiskey. There we go. There's more. If you do the fibs, which I'm a big fan of fibs, and like from this move from top to bottom, 50% retracement would bring this down to $19. Okay, well, maybe at 19, although it doesn't line up with anything here. Nothing big. There is really no confluence here of levels here on Mara. So I would hold off. But long term, I think they'll do fine. And again, I made the point in previous shows that once this spot Bitcoin ETF is approved, which I would bet anything it's going to happen, most likely Q1, when that happens, these companies are going to need to procure physical Bitcoin. Now, there's only 21 million that will ever exist. Of that, 5 million are already missing. So that means there'll only be 16 million. So you have these ETFs, these big funds, trying to build a portfolio of Bitcoin out of an ever-shrinking pool of Bitcoin. And the more that you and I take our Bitcoin off of the exchanges, the more you're removing your Bitcoin from circulation, and those that are going to build these portfolios have to buy from an even smaller pool and smaller, which means the price of Bitcoin is going to go up, which is the basis of my my hypothesis that I wrote for bar chart. That video I posted in the link there just a little bit. She sold GBTC and bought Beto, which I don't get, Big Ab. Beto's garbage. Yeah, I don't care what she does. Some of us are in 11 Ps for cool. All right, I like that. John, you're $11 puts on Mara for January. All right, good. Do you own any of the miners? Which one's the best? I don't own any. If you are gonna stick with some, I would stick with Riot and I would stick with Mara. The main reason I like Riot blockchain is because Riot is in Texas, and Texas has been definitely much more pro miners, and I don't know the obstacles that some of the other companies face. Why don't you trade crypto? Well, here's the reason. Chloe, if I think that a stock is going to go from $1 to $10 in the next 2 years, right? Let's just say 1 year. I think it's going to go from $1 to $10 in a year. Why don't I just buy it and hold it and not worry about a damn thing? Because my end goal is going to go to $10. A trader is uncertain about the future and is going to be buying and selling all through there, adding stress to their trades, transaction costs, and I might ultimately, by doing so many transactions, put myself at more risk of making bad trades. Given my feelings for crypto and the digital asset quote-unquote revolution, I'm totally fine not being an actor. I have actively traded. Trust me, I've used leverage. I've gone to different trading platforms and used them. I trade stocks, I trade futures, I trade options, I trade Forex. That's what I trade. I'm a long-term investor in crypto. I'm just going to leave my portfolio position there. I will add to my position if needed, but there's no reason for me to actively trade it because I believe that Bitcoin's going to get to $250,000 by November of 2025. So why would I want to sell my Bitcoin thinking it might go down for the next 2 days or a week or a month? If I think it's going to get to $250,000 a coin, leave it and wait. That's my attitude. Does that mean 2024 will be a very volatile year with so much happening? Absolutely, Robert. I think it's going to be a very volatile year. Very, very, very volatile year. Embrace it. There's nothing to fear. Look, markets are closed on Monday. Obviously, it's the new year, and I think I had a graph. Was that a graph? Yeah, it was a graphic. I tried to make it a New Year's celebration picture, but it really didn't work out that way. I tried to make it that graphic, but sometimes my graphics don't do what I want them to do. But there you go. That's me celebrating 4th of July. No, New Year's. We got fireworks. We got all kinds of fun stuff happening. It will be a very volatile year. Now, I don't know which way it's going to go. I have my ideas, and of course, I can look at the statistics and all we want. But bottom line is 2024 is going to do exactly 100% what it is supposed to do. So we'll talk about it on our show on Tuesday, where you think the market's going to go. I certainly invite all of you to engage in that discussion. Bring your thoughts, bring your contributions. I might see if I could actually get a friend of mine to do the show with me on Tuesday and put in polls so we can get you much more active on chat and doing that, because Monday or Tuesday show will be really about what you guys think's going to happen for the year. And I don't know if any of us will be right or wrong. Bottom line is it's all about opinions. Markets are going to do what they have to do. Just go with it. But I always like to think about the big factors that are facing us. So cheers, everybody. That's going to do it for me. The 207th show. of 2023. I thank all of you for participating and being a part of the journey here of the Trader Merlin Show. Hope we've helped you out in your trading journey. And if you have friends that are new to it or want to know more, send them my way. I think the only way that this thing will ever actually get big is if I get new subscribers, new followers, new participants. So cheers to everybody. Have a fantastic new year. Be safe. Don't drive. One of the busiest driving days of the year, so don't do it. Have a good new year. Go do something fun. I will see you all on Tuesday. Have a fantastic weekend all. Take care.